Hi, this is Christo again. Today we're going to talk about flu and colds and allergies and things like that. And it's a very short clip just to explain what we've learned over a long period of time. And one of the most important things, the first thing I want to say, is that you have to drink water. Water is the most incredible thing. Water is nature's natural antihistamine. If you don't drink water, your mucous membranes makes thicker mucus so as to protect your membranes from drying out and therefore leaving you open for infection or to infections. So drinking more water makes the body make less histamine, and therefore you don't have all this allergies and things like that. So that's a very important first thing. The second thing is it's very important to eliminate the unholy trinity, which is always wheat, dairy and sugar. You can go to my website. There's an article on wheat, dairy and sugar, why that is so very important to eliminate. Let me just simply say that wheat and dairy are the two things that causes the mucus. Specifically dairy, that means yogurt, cheese, milk, ice cream, those things. So you make the mucus, and then sugar is a very interesting thing. You find that in your body you have a leukocytic index, which is basically an indication of how quickly your immune system responds. And that index is just under 20 in normal circumstances. When you have 1 teaspoon of sugar, it brings down that index to about 1.9 or just under 2, which means that your immune response just is basically killed. So that's the first thing. So what do you do when you feel I have a sore throat? The first thing you do is, it's important with natural remedies to start treating it as quickly as possible. So the minute you start feeling something, you can start by using, for instance, something like olive leaf. Olive leaf is something that we've used for many years. Olive leaf, of course, made from the leaves of olives, an extract. This one that we use particularly is extremely potent, and it's verified so that when you get the extract after the leaves have been put in the tincture, you find that you still have linoleic acid and oleic acid. Those are the important things to have after the extraction. So sometimes you find an olive leaf extract that's not really potent and it might not work. The important thing about this is just to, when you feel the tickling in the throat, to take it every hour. And I usually recommend that you take 10 drops every hour. You can take it more as if you like. We also have something else that we use, and it's called Fight Factor. This one is a fantastic formula, and it contains olive leaf, it contains natural vitamin C in the form of rosehip, contains red grapeseed extract, to help with allergies, to help with circulation. Of course, if you have circulation, you have a better chance of fighting off things. And then also the antioxidant properties of the grapeseed helps to oxidize the pathogens that comes in. And it also contains something else called pelargonium. Why is pelargonium important? Well, you've often have a cough, and or it goes, your infection goes down deeper into the lungs or into the bronchus, and that's where Pelargonium pseudoides is very important. It is really a helpful remedy. It doesn't taste all that awful, and it works fantastic. Also with this, I recommend you take it on the hour, and with Fight Factor you take it on the hour. Now, what do you have if you have a little child that is sick? You can't give them like a baby. You can't give them a capsule. And you can give them the drops from olive leaf, for instance. What you do there is you put it in a teaspoon that you've heated, maybe with boiling water, drip the olive leaf drops in there, and then the alcohol evaporates. Then it's not a problem. And then you let it cool down and you give it to the baby to drink. So that's a way to give a tincture to a baby. But for little babies, the first thing we do is we give them Engestol, which is from Heal. It's a non-specific immune modulator or immune stimulant. So it helps babies, doesn't matter what the problem is. The first sign of you see something going wrong, that really works well. And if you know children, I have a few of my own. The thing about children is they usually get sick in the middle of the night, or just when everything is closed. So your pharmacies are closed, or your local health shop is closed. So we definitely recommend that you keep these things in your house at all times. You can if the child develops a terrible fever, we use something called Vibracol. This is a suppository, and I'll show you what it looks like. The suppository for fever works incredibly well. You can coat it in a little bit of Traumeel ointment, also from Heal, or just any lubricant, and then just insert it as a suppository for the child. It is non-chemical. And the one thing that is very important with fever is not to try and break the fever at all cost. Now that sounds scary, and sometimes it does feel scary, but I can tell you this: in our house we don't have a thermometer. We don't measure the temperature. We feel the temperature, and we can see when it gets high and when the child has cold shivers and things, and then we immediately give that. So the important thing is that fever is there to protect the child from the infection. So what happens if the infection comes, the body raises the temperature, and when it raises temperature, the pathogens cannot proliferate. So in other words, they cannot multiply. And if you give an antipyretic, not like this, which contains chamomile and so forth, but let's say you give a Panado or a Panado syrup or something like that, which is what we call an antipyretic, it basically brings down the fever forcefully. The problem with that is you bring down the fever, you've now basically killed the body's defense system. So it cannot fight anymore, because it raises the temperature so that in the meantime, while raising the temperature, it can make antibodies to kill the virus, the bacterial infection, whatever. So that is what we use. We use the Vibracol instead of an antipyretic. So it brings the fever down, and it helps, but in a natural way. So it works with the body because it's homeopathic, not allopathic, which means against what the body is trying to do. So therefore it helps. So people always say, oh, but I have to have antibiotics. Well, you don't have to do anything. And here's the thing that's important. You as a mother or the father or the person having the cold, you are the one that is responsible for that body, not the doctor. We must get away from this thinking that I go to the doctor and I hand my life to the doctor. It's very dangerous to do that, because that doctor does not have an idea. In fact, if it's a good pediatrician, he would know to listen to the mother, because the mother actually knows better than he, because he doesn't know the child, the mother knows the child. So it's important for you as a mother or father to develop your own testimony. We've done it for 20 years. I can tell you the very strong antibiotic is either Silvermax from 7.5, which you can use, and you can use that on all scratches, and you can use it in your ear, your nose, your throat, everywhere. And you can use the olive leaf, because the olive leaf really is the remedy par excellence for us. The thing about these remedies are you have to take them very often. With any homeopathic remedy, or in this case nutritional remedy, what we say is when you have an acute situation, you use the remedies acutely. In other words, you use it like every hour, and or maybe even every half an hour. And then with other remedies, like the homeopathic remedies like these ones, for the little ones, this is a tablet, but you can crush the tablets between 2 teaspoons and give it to the baby, and you can give it continuously. So the more often you give it, the better it is. So remember, drink a lot of water, keep yourself warm, make sure that your body temperature doesn't drop, and then the other thing, very important, make sure that you do your diet correctly. You may go and have cheese and whatever, milk afterwards, but when it is time for your or when you have an infection, make sure that you don't have wheat, dairy and sugar. And then take your minerals and your vitamins like you would on a daily basis, and your essential fatty acids. But the important thing is, when you start feeling a scratchy throat or something, immediately start using these remedies. If you use them every hour, you will get a great result. And that is what we have been doing, and we haven't been to the doctor in literally the last 20 years. So I hope this is of some help. There are more articles about it on our website, which you can find and you can read, and also write us and ask us questions if you like.